Good morning, my dear friends. I'm in front of the camera this morning to, like I said, between now and 2023, we all will be on the issue in Liberia. When the children of Israel was in exile, their whole life, the issue of Jerusalem was in their mind. They were thinking about back home. Nehemiah was in the king's palace. He enjoyed the greatest support and love from the king and his wife. It came to a point where when Nehemiah was thinking about the walls of Jerusalem, the king felt it in his spirit that there's something have changed about Nehemiah. If I said Jeremiah, I'm sorry, Nehemiah. And the king asked Nehemiah, what is it? It must be a trouble of the heart. So let's stop right there. The king told Nehemiah, it must be a trouble of the heart. When you hear us talking about Liberia, whether we're preaching the gospel or not, it's because our heart are troubled about our nation, Liberia, the lovely nation that we know, a one family country. So that's why we talk about, if you're a preacher in the history of religious history, from century to century, from the Old Testament age to the New Testament age with the coming in of Jesus, it was about the church and the nation, the church and rulers. There were times we have evil rulers. That's why I dedicate my first king message of the connection between God and Prophet Elijah. When the children of Israel turned their back on God, because Ahab could not control himself. He lacked the self-control and self-esteem and allowed his foreign wife Jezebel to encourage him to disobey God. That's what I dedicated my series to Liberia, because it is the same story. Leadership, people who had the quest to become leader but never had the mental capacity. What they call it, the courage and the know-how to become a leader. So it was easy for Jezebel to turn Ahab around. But in the midst of God's people, God always had his prophet that he would send to do his job. Some of us not claiming to be prophet, but we academically, if you are sound academically, you can see things happening in the realm, social realm, spiritual realm, and you can speak about it. So this is why we talk about Liberia, our nation that we come from. Because those of us who are in our system or going towards our system or beyond know what our nation was like. When people are jumping the street and bringing divisive thoughts in the minds of Liberians about Congo people, native people, they never knew that we were dealing with a highly illiterate nation where the people's mind needed to be developed. And that didn't happen until Torba came in the picture. And you all know the story about Torba and what we did to him. I'll never go and be a part of it, because I was as young as 12, 13 years old when I got connected to Torba in Bento, when he shook my hand and pointed his finger to my face. I don't know why he did that, but he was smiling when he did that. But I come to tell you here today, this issue I come to talk about today, there's a reason why George Weah became president for Liberia. And it was God's reason. Because in the history, if you look at what I'm preaching today about Israel turning to idol worship, because when you see certain leader in a nation at a certain point in time, it means that the trend that the nation have taken, it detects certain precedent. It detects certain leadership. So today we got George Weah as president. Let me bring his mom back to Samuel Doe. Samuel Doe came from the army and forcefully became president for that country through the military. But when he went through the rank and file of becoming a military president and later on turned to a civilian president, he decided to educate himself and train himself. Because a president got to be speaking to the people. Samuel Doe got all the people, the Elwood Dunn and all of these people that you call Congo people, gather around him and helping how to speak. Doe had to learn how to address the nation. He had to learn how to go all around the world to speak to a nation, to go at the United Nations and speak there. He went to America and received the highest honor from President Reagan. They gave him all the military honor that Doe desired, Doe preferred, because he certified the American where he took himself from to where he was. And at that time, Samuel Doe came to a point where he decided he has a traditional people, but he brought in educated people to help his government. There's people that you call Congo people. Samuel Doe went back to them and brought them into the government to help them. That's what he did. So, because Liberia turned to idol worship, anytime you see a nation turn to idol worship, it means that the leader have also been swaveled into idol worship. That's what happened to King Ahab of Israel. That's why Liberia history and Israel history are very closely connected. And we have a tribe in Liberia that connected to Israel. The lost tribe of Israel, the Dan people in northern Liberia. So, if those of you who around the president, you were able to do a good job to get him to speak, at least for people to understand at the UN General Assembly. But if very critical issue like the rest issue, everybody being in a spoon and every radio station being pressing on him to speak. So you people needed to prepare him. If he can listen, you know all the big preachers you see around the world today, they go into that room and practice how to preach before they come to the public. So that they use their wives. You know, they preach to their wives and the high son, what error that I made, the wife will correct it and they will correct it. So if you want to speak on the right issue, you're not economic. You used to do high school economics. Where the demand supply curve, because that's the first thing you do, the basic fundamental of economics, a demand supply curve. Then you want to speak on the right issue and attack economic issue to it. Then you go and blunder. I listened to Costa show this morning when he played the recording. So who around you that never allow you to tutor you to be able to connect the economic aspect of what's going on in our country to what you are supposed to speak to the nation, or saying people have to push you to go speak about rest issue. Generally, you are not around when all the rest trouble happening in the country. And you understand what I'm talking about? Everything in life, people got to learn it. When becoming a president, you either be educated or you get common sense. If you're a leader, you got all PhD and you got common sense, you zero. We have some of them in Liberia. They had all the doctorate degree, but they didn't have common sense. So Samuel Doe had common sense. That was making him was effective at a certain point when it comes to public speaking. Because he got people who knew how to write speeches and teach him, and he listened to the tutoring, and he was a great teacher. That's the man that brought you, George Weah, up. You used to call him father at the time you needed him. Yeah, you got his wife. What you used to call Ma. She was on the radio crying for her benefit. Then you got the reason why the children running behind you? Because that the language they understand, that language is speaking. They're eating poison and they don't even know that they're eating poison. So race issue is a very delicate issue in the country. You can't jump people to push you to gossip. The first thing all right in the country. The people just gossiping and spreading you because the children that are around you, that's what they want to listen to, the sedition. And that what you are speaking to, what they wanted to hear. But was that a reality in Liberia right now? To go sit down, to go blunder on talking about economic when you don't know something? That's why you're supposed to appoint people. The minister of information supposed to be an very effective tools, social tools for your government to speak on behalf of your government. That's what information minister work for. What you did, if you had all the president as the information and come and be able to interpret economically what happened with the right issue. And number one, you needed to tell the nation why they will reach to that point just abruptly. So there's a girl on a Costa show that talk about, and I believe what she said. I build because I know the mentality of you people. You're hauling rice and re-bagging it to put propose on it to run campaign. Then the people hungry. You think God gonna make you got to be successful with the belly, with the hungry people, to mislead hungry people with food? You think you're gonna be successful? God put you in that mansion so that to speak to Liberian people. Saying you have good people, good president, and you destroy them, and you don't want, I will give you this leper as a president. And you got it. You go sit and you're talking rubbish. You know, gibberish. That's what I call gibberish. You go talk gibberish. Talking about rest. You think rest based on that Easter people? People, all the children then that got the tent of criminal in order to be able to feed that people. You put our young people in the street after the war. Technically, you're now president who should have been president for Liberia after a war. And even you should have been president, those that came should have realized that we come from other war. We needed more sound people to build the economy and focus 100% on the young generation of our country. I am telling you, and you people, I say y'all shouldn't vote. But the point is that nobody hate George Weah. The only thing I pissed off with him for, because the blessing that God gave him to be the best soccer player, if it came from God, that was you have followed. But from the decision he took, it means that maybe 100% his football career did not come from God directly. Maybe there was something else mixed, some other trade or mix up with his football career. Probably that's why. Because when God gave you something, he will not make sure that you will not mismanage it. Soccer was the best thing that you learned and you went to the highest. Now look at you are president and look at the country. Nobody hate you. When it comes to a football career, I can put my neck on the front for it because you achieved. But you needed to learn how to be a president. You needed to learn, practically learn how to speak. Because I want the more important thing. Issue come in the country. Somebody told you to come and speak the issues. That the man that you say you follow. Look at how he performed. Unfortunately, he went that way because of the kind of people, the mind that Liberian people got. Young children are already head were already destroyed. They will go put them on the battlefront. Then we expect them to be normal human beings. Now, everybody want to be like an educated person, a master degree holder, this and that. They force for the getting all kind of papers, going to World Trade Center on Kerry Street to print a diploma and degrees in order to get a job. But we will keep talking. So I come to tell you today that my topic on the first king, you need to listen to those topics because Liberian people, you should be able to understand my English clear. Even white people understand it. I got a lot of people follow me on what they call on my YouTube page and my Facebook page. They listen to what I say. It makes a lot of sense. When you love someone, you tell them the truth. You don't when you mislead your leader, those are behind you, then they are the one the problem, and God will punish them when the time comes. So I start by this one to tell you, mister, you got to learn everything in life. People got to learn it. If you want to speak to people, learn it. If you want to speak on economic matter, let somebody train you. Let somebody tutor you what to say to the people. Because there are a lot of, when you go on the air, there are a lot of, you got all the embassies of the world in Liberia. They are there listening to what you're saying. And you think what they're telling the government? How they're looking at you? They are there for different interests. So I just stopped by this morning to do this recording, to put it out there. Our voices will be out loud between 2023 to encourage the children. Because if you're sitting down again and put a government in that the world, America that already started to sanction, you on your own, because nobody will suffer in America to send money to people who don't see what is it. But maybe too, the children have been enticed. They have been spiritually enticed, somewhere or the other. That's why I said we must present Liberia to God for this coming election. Whoever wins, you better turn the country to God. Other than that, you will have few days in office. I am saying it now, it's a spiritual threat. Because after Weah, if he doesn't win, and anybody else win, and you don't have any plan to turn to God or that country, just leave your own with God, because you will not succeed. Liberia must be returned to God. We must remove the demonic worship. We must remove Baal, Asherah, Jezebel, Ahab. We must remove them from Liberia and replace them with Darius. I'm talking about the Darius of Israel that took over when Israel became prosperous. But God allowed an experimental government to take from Ahab. There was succession or coup d'etat in Israel. This king killing this king. Jezebel killed the other king, and then at the end of the day, she was killed too. Some of them committed suicide. When Israel were under Baal, Asherah, and Jezebel, and supported by King Ahab, and all of these things happened to them. And when God sent Elijah to do his work, to cleanse Israel, it started with a drought, that the country was dry. There was no food for them to eat. So that rest business that happening there, God will use it to straighten that country up and change leadership. God used drought. He's saying Elijah to pronounce drought, that so no food will grow. They will not have nothing. There will be no sun. There will be no rain in Israel, so that they can know that there's a God. So he sent Elijah to challenge the God of Jezebel and Ahab, that God that they're worshiping, to see who was the strongest God. And that's what's going to happen to Liberia. God will do it in a special way. That the way how some of you people live on that place, because you people have done a lot of correction. You built a lot of castles that's all in that country. You all want to protect it to say, you all not stay there. Because I was inside, I usually hear when I was going to Zogo, pay the children say, okay, we know where you're living. The Zogo, then the people that call Zogo. I usually hear from them, oh, my papa, you forget about the people, we know where they're living. So you know what I mean? So if you know what I know, you better act nice to the Liberian people, so that your transition can be nice and smooth. Do not go back to the Israel of Asherah, Baal, and Jezebel, and Ahab, and all the other wicked king that came. And so if that happened to God's people, so what other monkey around the world that it can happen to? Because the all monkey know how to do jump from tree to tree. Jumping from people banana farm, from one banana tree to another banana tree that got red one on it, that the cows are raising a monkey. And you know, jumping from one banana tree to another one, looking for the red one, and leaving the green one there. You look for all the money of the nation and stuff it in your pocket. Yeah, the girl was talking this month, she revealed something very important about that rest issue. And that's true in it. You're holding the rest to repack it and put proper to go wrong company to give the hungry people. And I'm telling you, Liberian people, to my final word to you today. Anybody bring any rest to you with a picture on it at this hungry time, take that rest and flash it on them. Push it. Flash it, the rest in their faces. I am saying it because of wickedness. Where was the rest before you want to go to repack it? Even you repack it, they can't rest. Anybody can rest for campaign. Don't take it. They're abusing you. Thank you and have a blessed day. And I'll be around. I'll continue with my spiritual science series. In between business and preaching, I will find time. God bless you and God bless Liberia. And may 2023 bring a decisive time to redeem the people of Liberia. God bless you. Most gracious Heavenly Father, those who listen to my voice this morning, may you help them to understand what I'm trying to send out there, the message to the president and his people and everything about our nation. May you bless those that need to be blessed. May you curse those that are supposed to be cursed. Because when you got ready for Israel, your chosen people, you curse them because they turn against you. So those who are cursing you and turn to Baal and Asherah in Liberia, curse them. Let them move on out of that country with the wickedness and the blood-sucking demons in our country. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.